Hi there, and welcome to Roth Reviews. My name is Kobe Roth, and it will be my pleasure to review a film for you today. But what kind of films am I going to be reviewing on this channel? Well, films that are art house films, foreign films, the kind of films that most people don't know about and want to learn more about. And I feel at my age, college, university kind of age, it's the best time to learn about these things. So I hope that a young person talking about these things would be better than some old fart, but, maybe not. Anyways, the film we're reviewing today is called Alice in Wonderland, 1988. It was made in 1988, released, well. But you may wonder, well, let's think about it. There's Alice in Wonderland by Tim Burton, 2010, and Alice in Wonderland, the Disney one, and Alice in Wonderland, the Hallmark production, and Green Child. But 1988? Yes, didn't get the numbers wrong, 1988. And it was the kind of film that a lot of people don't know about because it's a foreign film, and not only that, it's a film full of surrealism. So with those two things, and also it's quite old. And by the time it reached popularity, it was way later. But nevertheless, it was a great film. Why I feel it was great? Well, these are the reasons. It's surrealism, but it's not overwhelming, kind of like, artistic jargon and, pseudo-intellectualism, kind of, self-obsessed director. Nothing like that. It's a film that really portrays Alice in Wonderland's journey into the land of wonders. Basically, it really makes you realize, by the way the character, Alice, in this film, how confused she is, and what on earth is going on. And in a lot of these Alice in Wonderland productions, the character Alice just suddenly realizes, well, this is that, and there's no surprise. But really, if Alice in Wonderland, the first time she went into the hole, she would be like, whoa, things are really different here. And this is exactly what this movie does to the audience, and the character too. This movie makes you realize that your dreams are just about choir boys compared to, Jan Švankmajer's version of Alice. I mean, it's kaleidoscopic, and also, it's magical, and at times can be creepy. But with that being said, creepy in Alice in Wonderland. Yes, creepiness can be good in Alice in Wonderland, which is aimed at kids. Now, some people will say, well, we're trying to, get kids away from the creepy element, but I say no. I mean, creepy doesn't always have to be, like, nightmarishly creepy. It could just be slightly creepy. This movie is good for kids many ways. For example, one, it makes kids realize that you can take one story and make it in different ways. And if we're trying to teach kids to think creatively, which I think everybody now is doing, it's like the latest fashion, I think this film will be really good. Because at a young age, if you've seen Alice in Wonderland with Disney and all the other productions I mentioned before, and then this, the kids have really a lot of things to compare and contrast, and that's really important. Another thing with kids being mentioned, it's important, I feel, to talk with this film especially, but any film and any audience, doesn't just have to be kids, is basically, talking to the audience about the movie before the movie starts, and then when the movie's in the middle, and the movie at the end. And I feel those discussions should not only be reserved for film students or, in university, classrooms. I feel it's important for a family to do it. Anybody who's watching a movie, even sometimes if you're watching a movie by yourself, that's the kind of thing you gotta do. And those are the kind of things I'm trying to instill in this reviewing channel. Back to Alice. So, Alice, a young girl, like in every, adaptation, is going into the world of Wonderland. Now, with this case, Alice is really the only character in the film, and given that, she's also a child actress. So, there's a lot of challenges here. And if that was not enough, the other thing that was quite challenging when making this film was that there was some anxiety at the time of the communist regime. Now, because this film, done by Jan Švankmajer, was done in, Czechoslovakia at the time, Czech Republic. Now, people were worried about how would the regime feel about it. Now, it went along, it was fine, but the anxiety was there, and the anxiety can sometimes really cause, the film to go really badly. Sometimes anxiety can be good with films, like anything. So it was challenging in many ways, but then not only was it that challenge. Well, not only were those things challenging, other things were challenging was the time, 1988, and given that it was in a country that, made films, but, it didn't have like a Hollywood, population and, people who were capable of doing things that Hollywood was at the time, it really worked hard to make this film not a Hollywood film, but a film that it was supposed to be, the ultimate surreal fest of Alice in Wonderland, and it did well with that. I mean, if you had to ask someone, what's the best way to view a Jan Švankmajer film, I'll give two opinions. The first one is my own experience, which was I put in the Jan Švankmajer tape when I was 15, and I was expecting it to be, for kids, right? But actually, it was not that it was not for kids, but it was just not done the way for kid movies are made. And I had a good reaction. It was shocking, it was creepy, it was kind of scary. I mean, I was 15, but at the age of 15, my fear tolerance level was about the, age of a 10-year-old. Still, I persevered, and I managed to get through, and I'm glad I did. It really, really taught me a lesson about not giving up if a movie is scary, or, just downright bizarre, which is a good thing, especially if you want to get into the kind of films we're reviewing here. But, the thing is, when you're making films like these, sometimes you say, well, but let's say I'm a teacher, or an art teacher, because this film is full of art, and teachers teach young people, and, Alice in Wonderland is aimed at kids. Well, yes, the film is good for kids, but I would say the age where you should just kind of, be careful with it is kind of like maybe 5 or 4, because there are some things in this film that are kind of like loud noises, bright colors, can be quite scary. Also, if you have an epilepsy health problem, I would suggest not watching this film, because it could trigger a seizure. I mean, it actually has a warning, believe it or not. And with that being said, a lot of films in this medium, surreal films have that, but technology is changing, so hopefully that can be accommodated. Now, as you can tell, I'm all over the place, and I'm digressing and this and that, but I'm doing that with a purpose, because I feel that, movies such as Alice, the one that you're about to watch, based on this review, or any other kind of films, especially the esoteric, art house type films, they should be all over the place in your head, because they often don't have a meaning like we're structured to think. We often think of a movie beginning, middle, end, conclusion, climax, things like that. But with films like that, people are not molded. We're not taught to understand films like that. So I feel it's the films community, the community of people who like these kind of films, the surreal, midnight avant-garde, film noir, films like that should be just talked about as many ways and thought about as many ways as possible. And in this reviewing channel, you're not going to just see, a concrete, middle, beginning, end, and very structured. You're basically going to see many reactions from one movie, and that is a good thing. I think it's a good thing because movies cannot just be, it's good all the way through, or it's bad all the way through. I think the movies can have times in it where you like it and don't like it. With Jan Švankmajer films, it's not whether you like it or don't like it, it's just some things are scarier than others. And just to conclude about Jan Švankmajer, this is a good film to start with his kind of films, because he has other films, such as Conspirators of Pleasure, which was made in 2000, or 1994. Yeah, it's a big age difference. But actually, there's a couple. There's Little Otik, also known as Greedy Guts. There is The Cellar, which is kind of a spooky one, which is good. I like spooky. And then there's, the Conspirators of Pleasure. Now, this is probably the best film to start with Jan Švankmajer, because it's got the least amount of nightmarish, bizarre, activity going on. There's a movie coming out called Insects. It's by Jan Švankmajer. Now, I don't think many people, including myself, who are watching this or looking for films like that, have actually seen a Jan Švankmajer film in the cinemas. If it comes out in your local, film theater or an international film festival close to you, check it out, because I'm going to be looking at, TIFF. I'm from Toronto. Seeing Jan Švankmajer film on a computer or TV is one thing, but seeing it on a full screen, especially when the title is Insects, I say you gotta go. So I think that's it, but go upstairs, check when insects are coming to a theater near you, because that is something you cannot miss. Goodbye, thank you.